Now that we've all seen Thunderbolts and watched them become the new Avengers, it's fun to look back at some of the wilder fan theories that were floating around before the movie came out. One of the most popular, and by far most brutal, was a theory that imagined the most shocking villain introduction in MCU history. It wasn't about Sentry or Valentina's betrayal. This theory proposed a story where the Thunderbolts, on a routine mission, stumble upon a crashed ship carrying a single, solitary man. A man they make the fatal mistake of underestimating. This is the story of how Doctor Doom could have arrived in the MCU, not with a whisper, but with a storm that would have reset the entire power scale. Let's dive into that what if. First, let's remember who this team is. The Thunderbolts are the MCU's collection of broken toys, a government-sanctioned crew who are, to put it lightly, morally flexible. They're a powder keg of ego, trauma, and conflicting personalities, barely held together by Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. You've got Yelena Belova, the new Black Widow, just as lethal as her sister but armed with a cynical wit that could cut glass. Then there's Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, a man who has spent a century as a weapon and is now desperately trying to find some peace. He's trying to do good, but he's surrounded by people who live in the gray. Alongside them is John Walker, the U.S. agent. He had a taste of being Captain America, had it ripped away, and now he's pure aggression with a massive chip on his shoulder. There's Alexei Shostakov, the Red Guardian, a larger-than-life figure who is equal parts powerful and pathetic, chasing faded glory. You can't forget Ava Starr, or Ghost, a woman whose existence is a state of quantum agony, making her a true wild card. And finally, Taskmaster, a walking weapon with photographic reflexes, a near-perfect fighter who's been controlled for most of her life. So picture this team on their Quinjet. They've likely just wrapped a messy, morally questionable mission. The mood is a mix of relief and simmering tension. Red Guardian is probably boasting, Yelena is making dry, cutting remarks, Walker is brooding, and Bucky is just trying to block it all out. This isn't a team. It's a collection of jagged edges in the same box. They are arrogant. They believe they're the toughest players in the game, the ones who do the dirty jobs the Avengers wouldn't touch. And in this hypothetical scenario, this swaggering confidence is the pride that comes right before the fall. The scene is tense but routine. Suddenly, an alarm blares. A proximity alert. On the main screen, a flaming object streaks across the atmosphere. Valentina's face flickers on the comms. She tells them an unregistered object went down in a desolate region of Siberia. Standard protocol is to let the locals handle it, but the energy readings are too strange to ignore. Go take a look, she'd say, and be discreet. The team groans. Walker scoffs. Probably just a piece of space junk. But Bucky, ever the soldier, knows that space junk is rarely just junk in their world. They take a stealth craft down into a vast, empty expanse of snow and rock. The crash site is a massive crater, miles long. At its heart lies the wreckage of a ship, its design unlike anything they've ever seen, not Chitauri, not Kree. It has a strange, almost regal look, despite being a mangled wreck. A faint, unsettling hum emanates from it. They approach on foot, weapons drawn. Walker is cocky. Looks like somebody had a rough landing. Red Guardian laughs. Maybe they are friendly. We should invite them for vodka. Yelena and Bucky are more cautious, their instincts screaming that something is wrong. Bucky signals a halt. He points his rifle towards a tear in the ship's hull. A shadow moves inside. The team tenses, taking cover. And then a figure emerges. He steps out into the twilight. A tall, broad-shouldered man encased entirely in gunmetal gray armor. It doesn't look sleek like Iron Man's suits. It's brutalist and imposing, like something a medieval knight would wear in the far future. A tattered green cloak is held at his neck by two ornate clasps, but it's the helmet that commands their attention. A cold, emotionless mask of steel, with dark, empty sockets that seem to stare right through them. The team is momentarily stunned. John Walker, of course, breaks the silence with a smirk. Well, look what we have here. Tin Man's angrier, uglier cousin. The armored man says nothing. Bucky's voice is tense. Who are you? The figure finally speaks, his voice deep, resonant, and carrying an aristocratic Eastern European accent. I am Doom. There's a beat. Then, Yelena lets out a short, incredulous laugh. Doom? Your name is Doom? She grins. Was Dr. Evil already taken? Walker roars with laughter. Dr. Doom, oh that's rich. Is that a marketing decision? Because it's a little on the nose, pal. This is the fatal mistake. For anyone who knows the comics, a cold dread would be creeping in right about now. This isn't just any villain. He is one of the most brilliant, powerful, and dangerously prideful beings in the Marvel cosmos. His intellect rivals the greatest minds, his mastery of sorcery is legendary, and his will is unbreakable. To mock his name is an insult of the highest order. For Doom, there is only one response to such disrespect. But the Thunderbolts don't know this. They see a man in a clunky suit with a silly name. They can't comprehend that this being has mastered both science and magic to a godlike degree. In the comics, his armor has withstood blasts from the Infinity Gauntlet, and he's battled cosmic entities. They just see another target. The air grows colder. A faint green energy begins to flicker around Doom's gauntlets. My name, Doom says, his voice losing its calm tone and taking on the chilling finality of a death sentence, is the last sound you will ever hear, and you will learn to respect it. Walker just scoffs. Yeah, okay, let's get this over with. He raises his shield and charges. What follows isn't a fight. It's an execution. Walker charges, shield first, expecting to send the man flying. Instead, Doom raises a hand. A shimmering green field of energy, a fusion of magic and tech, materializes and stops Walker dead. The impact throws him back, stunned. Before he can recover, a bolt of green energy erupts from Doom's other gauntlet, striking Walker in the chest and sending him flying 100 yards into a rock outcropping. One down. Red Guardian bellows in rage and charges. Doom doesn't even bother with another force field. His hand glows and Red Guardian's shield suddenly becomes red hot, forcing him to drop it with a scream. In that split second, Doom is on him, lifting the super soldier by the throat with one hand and delivering a single, energy-augmented punch with the other. 2 down. Taskmaster and Yelena attack at once. Yelena's bullets spark harmlessly off Doom's magically forged armor. He turns his attention to Taskmaster. You mimic, Doom says with contempt. You have no skill of your own. He uses technopathy to scramble her helmet's HUD, then lashes out with a mystical whip of energy, yanking her to the ground. A precise beam of energy from his finger blasts through her visor. 3 down. Yelena activates a cloaking device and vanishes. But you can't hide from Doom. His helmet's eyes glow red. Thermal vision, magical senses, it doesn't matter. He fires a concussive blast at an empty spot, revealing Yelena as her cloak short-circuits. He stands over her. You found my name. Amusing! Arcs of electricity cascade from his hand, and she convulses into stillness. 4 down. Ghost phases into existence behind Doom, her hand glowing, ready to disrupt his armor from the inside. But his armor isn't just tech, it's warded with enchantments. A wave of dark magic surges into her phased arm, violently ripping her back into a solid state. He grabs her by the head. "Your affliction is a fascinating quantum entanglement," he says conversationally. "Allow me to resolve it." A sickening crunch. 5 down. Only Bucky remains. He has seen it all, from World War II to Thanos. But he's never seen anything like this. He unloads his rifle, but the bullets flatten against Doom's mask. Bucky drops the rifle and charges, his vibranium arm ready for a punch that could dent a tank. He swings. Doom meets the punch with his own gauntlet. Metal on metal. A green energy flares from Doom's fist, and the vibranium begins to glow white-hot and melt. Bucky screams as Doom twists, tearing the molten arm from its socket. Doom stands before him. "You have a warrior's spirit," he concedes. "But you fight for chaos. I bring order." He points a finger at Bucky's chest, a final, thin beam of emerald light. The war is over. In this alternate scenario, Dr. Doom stands alone amidst the wreckage and the bodies of the Thunderbolts. He doesn't gloat. He simply turns to his ship's console and begins his work. His arrival was no accident. He is here for a reason, and the most terrifying part is, we don't know what it is. The implications of this single scene would have been massive. A team of established, powerful characters erased from the board in under 5 minutes. This would immediately establish Dr. Doom as a threat beyond anything seen before. Thanos needed the Infinity Stones and armies. Doom would have arrived alone and annihilated a team that could give the Avengers a run for their money. It would have injected a level of genuine visceral danger back into the MCU, shattering the idea of plot armor. It would be the ultimate show-don't-tell introduction, demonstrating his power, intellect, and ruthlessness in one swift, terrifying sequence. The world would reel. Valentina would stare at a screen of static, her face a rare mask of cold fury and maybe, for the first time, fear. Sam Wilson, the new Captain America, would see the news and know instinctively that this was an Avengers-level threat. He'd know the world was vulnerable and that a monster had just announced his arrival. Of course, this isn't what happened in the Thunderbolts movie. The film gave us a story about the team facing their inner demons and the threat of the Sentry and the Void. They survived to become the New Avengers, and even have a looming trademark lawsuit from Captain America. But this hypothetical opening remains a fascinating thought experiment. It's a look at how you could introduce an iconic villain like Dr. Doom, not just as an antagonist, but as a force of nature. It's a brutal, unforgettable way to say the games are over. A new god walks among you, and his name is Doom. While Dr. Doom didn't appear in Thunderbolts, theories persist that he is coming soon, with many looking toward Avengers Doomsday for his eventual terrifying debut.